Welcome back, artists. I'm Wyatt Paints, and this week, that's right, I've got zombie heads again. What can I say? Hex3D has made a lot of these, and my client is a fan. This time, I have the heads of Sonic and his fox companion, Tails. Now, we've been here before, so we know exactly what it's going to take to get that crisp, clean cartoon style. And this goes double for those colors that are unforgiving when it comes to surface finish, like white and bright orange. But so long as we stay on top of our brush control for smooth coats, it should be just a matter of painting in the correct order. If we get that right, it'll be no sweat. And a quick reminder for those that haven't already, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It'd be awesome if you did. With that said, meet me over at the painting table. I'm gonna grab my brushes. Let's get started. Before we get to the heads, we need to take care of the bases. First up is this classic Sonic shoe, and we get to start with ash gray. Using an undercoat lets it do the heavy lifting when it comes to achieving an even saturation of color. And really, undercoats are going to be the workhorse on this project. If you need light and bright final colors, undercoats are going to be your best friend. Just make sure you keep it smooth. We're going to be using lots of thin coats on this one, so issues early are only going to be compounded as we add each successive layer. For that bright white, spaceship exterior. This is a perfect stand-in for actual white, and after a few thin coats, the strap and leg warmers will look their best. And I guess I stand corrected. In the previous video, I had said Sonic only wears 2 articles of clothing, shoes and gloves. Technically, these socks are a third, but that's still weird, right? Like, why have them in shoes and gloves? It's definitely not the 2 articles I choose. And you, like a lot of people I've told this to, might think it's fine because they're covered in fur, no big deal. And I would agree, except Amy wears a dress. Now, I'm not advocating for Amy to lose her dress, but it's extra weird now, right? If you're gonna put them in clothes, put them in clothes. You know, say what you will about Disney, but they understood the optics. If you put the girl mouse in a dress, you gotta put pants on the boy mouse. Next, chaotic red for those panels. Just like with the ash gray, this red is going to serve as the undercoat for the brighter red later, so we need a smooth base to work from. I just have to be sure to slow it down as I get close to the white. Any overpainting here will need touch-ups. To cherry up the red, pure red. Even with the red undercoat, painting this tone will take several applications to get full opacity. And to be honest, while putting on the first pass, there was an unshakable feeling that this was a bad choice. But sometimes you gotta see things through before you determine how good they'll be. Put on a movie or a podcast and just try to reach that painting flow state. Now for a bit of pop, Greedy Gold. After blacking out the buckle, a light dry brush of Greedy will bling it up in no time. Just watch your distance and you should be able to dust the buckle while avoiding everything else. Worst comes to worst, a quick touch-up can right the course. Now to swap over to Bright Gold. The idea here is to layer multiple metallics to give a more dynamic range to the contrast. This ends up giving me a real natural look without taking tons of time. Just keep this second color extra light on the dry brush and pick out areas to hit rather than all over. For me, I picked these 3 corners, but it could have just as well been 1 or 2. After this, we can set it aside to get varnished. The second base is a checkpoint marker from the game. These were a white star with a very dark blue background and a red outer circle. To make this easy on myself, I'm working from the inside out, starting with giving the stars the medium gray to light gray treatment. But there's a big difference this time, as we have some sharp angles to contend with. Be sure to sweep these areas clean every time you add a coat. Otherwise, this detail will get filled in quickly. The blue area got filled with deep ocean blue. This is my first time using this tone, and color me impressed. Also, thanks to this being such a dark blue, it was a one and done. Finally, the red started with the same chaotic base, but then I switched to dragon red and a feathery dry brush around the rim. The idea being is that I want this base to be on the darker side to contrast with the lighter shoe. And using too much bright red here would give me strong Captain America vibes. Meanwhile, the bottom part got a 2-step dry brush. First, a heavy one with death metal to establish a metallic tone. Then, a second pass with greedy gold, this time lighter and more focused on the contoured edges. If you keep your stroke going in a consistent direction, you can develop a natural looking grain to the metal. And keeping the highlight light will age up the metal a bit with a nice patina. Those bases got wrapped up super fast, so I've got plenty of time to take a moment to thank my subscribers over on Patreon. Your monthly contributions are inching me closer and closer to the next channel upgrade, so I can't thank you enough. If you would like to join the Painting Pantheon, you'll find a link to it below. Even if you choose not to etch your name in the halls of greatness, you can join for free and get behind the scenes info on upcoming projects, and even sometimes polls on color choice. Last week I put out a poll to figure out which color scheme I should use for this upcoming Wolverine I'm doing. Currently, it's a pretty tight race between classic brown and yellow and the new Ultimates black and red. Be sure to cast your vote and keep watching this channel to find out which one wins. For now, Sonic has finished off his chili dog lunch. Let's get him painted. Sitting back down with the heads, they're primed and ready for color. Let's start on the bone with some dusty skull. And you know the drill by now, a simple smooth base coat. To add a bit of dinginess, a touch of light tone. While this is an all-over wash, I do want to make sure to get ample coverage in the teeth. Then, to highlight, skeleton bone. It's okay to leave this highlight a bit rough. Just focus on restricting this to the outline of the orbital socket and the teeth. My goal here was a super clean look, as I imagine even with the chili dog diet, all that cardio has got him living pretty clean. So bright clean bones it is. I would say this fits the bill for bright and clean bones. Let's get on that Gore Line with Basilisk Red. Here is where you can see why painting inside out pays off. It's a lot easier to avoid the bone painting from the outside than it would be vice versa. So let's lay down this fleshy red and keep on moving. While the flesh dries, this is a good time for me to grab some matte black and clean up those eye sockets. And just because I'm painting black on black doesn't mean I can slack off on paint control. You gotta be sure to thin your paint. Yeah, even black. Trust me, it would be one heck of a kick in the butt to do all this work just to have some gnarly lumpy eye sockets. I just gotta take my time and do it right to get some nice, crisp, clean lines. Red tone is just what we need to darken all those meaty bits. Just a simple all-over wash. We want this to flow into those sculpted texture areas, so I'm using a slightly heavy hand with this wash, but resist the urge to overdo it. You'll just get pooling and not the effect you want. Take the extra time and just use multiple applications. But if you do get pooling, or you just want to knock back the shade a bit, don't be afraid of grabbing a small brush and zooming in with some maskless to tighten up things. But as you can tell, I'm not looking to make this a gore fest, so let's just leave it at cleanup and move on. Time to take care of all the parts that are going to be white, which got the same 2 steps of gray that we've done before. This is going to take some time to get bright, even coverage, but it's a part of the hobby. Sometimes I just like to let my mind drift to weird places while I do it. Like right now, I'm back to thinking about Disney and how they break their own rule on pants on boys with Donald Duck. But then, to be fair, Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie all don't wear bottoms either, so maybe it's just ducks don't wear pants in the Disney universe. But then you come across Launchpad McQuack walking around in his pants. So what's up with that? Is Launchpad the only duck that ate from the tree of knowledge? And he's like, yo, I gotta put on pants? I don't know. Maybe it's best not to pull that thread. Our whites are nice and bright. Let's get Sonic's blues down with Deep Ocean Blue. But about a minute in, I realized I jumped the gun in painting inside and out, and I needed to do his inner ears and mouth first. And surprisingly, Mocha to the rescue. This is a bit of Sonic trivia that I'm actually surprised I didn't realize. For the longest time, I thought Sonic's mouth and ears were white, but they're actually a fleshy beige. Thankfully, using the internet for reference photos fills in the spots where my memory fails. It's a tool that's invaluable to the modern day hobbyist. Be sure to exploit it to the fullest. After several layers, I was good to move on to amber skin. And at first, I thought it was going to be a touch too dark as well. But as I filled it in, I could see it next to the subdued tones of the ocean blue, and I knew it was going to be a winner. It starts a little rough, but you gotta trust the process enough to see the results pay off. And boy, this one does pay off. With With that taken care of, we can get back to the ocean and focusing on coloring up the Blue Bomber's spiky side. Unlike pretty much every other part, Sonic's blue is a one and done, as this ocean blue is a dead ringer for the Genesis era Sonic Blue, and it's dark enough to not need an undercoat to do its job properly. I'm an 80s kid, so when I think of Sonic, it's this one. Now, let's get some green skin for his eyes. Yep, Sonic has green eyes. Although, to be fair, depending on the source material, he's also known to have silver, black, and electric blue. So you have a bit of wiggle room on this while still being canon. For now, whichever color you choose, lay down a dark version of that color over the entire iris. Then switch to your lighter color, in my case wild green, and stipple it around the pupil. If you're quick and do this while the previous blue is still drying, you'll get a bit of a blend on the first layer. Then come back when it's fully dry and put a thin ring of pure wild green on top of it, just along the boundary of the pupil. Finally, we can finish off Sonic by blacking out his pupil and nose, followed by a dab of spaceship for a bit of eye shine. One head down, one to go. One head down, one to go. Time for all the orange for our buddy Tails here, and just like white, there's a lot of it. And orange has the added difficulty of being nearly as miserable to paint as yellow. So a base coat is necessary to get an even final tone. That's why I'm using this red orange to take the heavy burden of lightening up all that primer black. This is also another good place to just check out mentally to let your hands work on muscle memory only. Because once we're done, we get to do it all again, but with our final orange, Glowing Inferno. Which, honestly, just sends me down the Disney rabbit hole again. Like, how the structure of Toon Society in the Disneyverse is actually the darkest timeline. Okay, go with me on this. So, canonically, Mickey Mouse owns Pluto. He's his dog. He's owned by a mouse. Has a little house and everything. But the thing is, Pluto is like hella intelligent. Like, he can't talk, but he's only like a step away from being a Scooby or Astro, right? If you look into his eyes, there's somebody looking back at you. So what really makes this sad is that at one point, Mickey was neighbors with Goofy, who is also a dog. And I'd like to go on record that Pluto is far more intelligent than Goofy, like 7 days a week. It must have made him so mad every day watching Goofy come home to his house, driving his car, greeting his son he somehow managed to get in college, all while also seeing him nearly strangle himself trying to water his lawn on a weekly basis. Disney Universe is the most unjust universe ever created. Of all fictional characters, Pluto got the rawest deal. Besides the existential dread I'm feeling, Tails' fur has been fleshed out and is that bright orange that's instantly recognizable. But yeah, you saw right, I made a bit of an oopsie and left an orange fingerprint on the white fur. Don't worry, that's exactly what touch-ups are for. Besides that, let's keep jamming and finish this job off with Tails' eye. The same method as Sonic, but this time I'm using ocean blue for the base and shield blue for the highlight. Then just like before, we're gonna black out the pupil and the nose and then white up that reflection. And then call it done. Holy chaos emeralds! These came out great. All of the colors just really come through. The broody, nostalgic tones of Sonic coupled with the bright and poppy oranges of Tails. And like last time, my client will be printing their own display posts, so you'll have to forgive me for not fully assembling them. But what do you all think? Are these video game zombie heads up your alley? They sure seem to tackle Hex3D so much that he's made a bunch of them in a series. So be sure to check back to see how future ones check out. And hey, no sponsor in this video, so a touch more self-promotion. We're about 100 people away from 2,000 subs on the channel, and I'm getting ready to print out my next play button. The PLA button alone just can't do. It needs a buddy. And 2,000 subs seems just like the milestone to make it happen, because the awards you give yourself are the most important ones. For now, I need to get work on a snowy Wolverine for next video. So as always, thanks for watching, stay creative, and always enjoy the process.